Okay, it is now time for us to write 6 cold email sequences. Now, cold email is right around the corner. The reason why we're writing these sequences now is just to give you a couple of days to be able to go back and forth, make sure that the sequence looks good, that it's sexy. Give yourself a little bit of time to think about it, maybe think about your offers before we actually press go. But as you can probably guess, each sequence is going to use one of those core offers that we developed previously. So we're going to run 2 offers per niche. And that's at least my recommendation. That's going to allow us to test each offer's effectiveness against each other within the same niche. It's also going to allow us to test every niche's effectiveness across similar sorts of offers, which is just free data. And you should always be testing different approaches in cold email because the time is going to pass anyway. Like, you might as well walk away knowing more about your audience. The impact to your conversion rate by having like one subpar split test or whatever, that is well worth the value of the information that you get. Okay, so how to write a sequence. This isn't a copywriting course, but I recommend that you guys take this part pretty seriously because I find a lot of people screw this stuff up and they wonder why their cold email isn't working, or they think cold email just can't work for them. As long as you just memorize a couple of these steps and you know them every single time you write a campaign, you'll be good. So I follow a simple copywriting formula on basically all my campaigns. I start with personalization. That's where I have a little personalization variable. Then I have a who am I, why the hell does this matter part. Then I have my offer part. This is a quick example of all those pieces put together. Personalization, that would be something like, hey, Pete, how's it going? Blah, 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 whatever. And then it says, I work with company name. I know you're currently using live chat for your inquiries, and I was wondering if you want to make a little bit more money. The pitches were a third the cost of your current provider. We have significantly faster response times and quality. Our average law firm does over $150K per month in bookings for less than 3%. We also don't charge anything until you get your 10 first paying clients, so it's risk-free. I'd pay for and set it all up on my own in under 15 minutes. Is this worth a chat? If you're not totally satisfied, you can always switch back. We'll handle it all for you. Let me know. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. So that is the full pitch, personalization up at the top. Who am I? Why is this important over here? And then the offer right over here. And then we have a little call to action here too, but you can just include that as part of the offer. Just 3 steps. Personalize. Why the hell does this matter? Here's my offer. Personalization always starts off every email because of how high leverage it is. And also because when you go to your email inbox or something, the first thing that you see, oh nice, looks like YouTube just sent me an invite. But the very first thing that you see is you see this like line, and then you can see some of the email, right? So the whole point that I'm making is by you doing this, you essentially get to show or imply that you are the person, like you're somebody that knows this person, and they see it in the beginning part of your email. That's why you want to front load it. So this substantially improves opening rates, sort of just like hack, right? They see your personalization even before they click on the email. And the first thought is, holy crap, this guy did his research. Jeez. And it's what buys you enough time to finish the rest of your pitch, basically. It like gets your foot in the door. Then you have like 10 seconds of their attention. And assuming that you treat the other 10 seconds of their attention right, you can get them to their offer, get them to your offer. So in 2024, which is when I recorded this, campaigns that don't have personalization tend to suck. So just make sure that you have it. The second step is like, why am I? I'm a philosopher all of a sudden. Who am I, and why the hell is this important? This is the copywriting part of your cold email. This is really where, like, if you're a great writer, you're going to crush it here, and you're going to be able to do some really cool shit. If you're a poor writer, you're not, and it's going to hurt you. But you can simplify this a lot. Basically, I have a little formula here, which is I work with company. We do high value thing, and I was wondering if you wanted some cool outcome. Then you do your social proof. I just did 45 meetings a year per day for this other company, and they're really similar to yours, which makes me confident this is worth your time. Here's all this stuff put together for my actual campaign. I said something very similar to this for quite a while. Hi, I work with LeftClick. We book 20 qualified sales appointments per month for recruitment agencies, and I was wondering if you want some free leads. I have a lot that I could send you. We just finished a campaign for recruitment pros that made them $143,503 in 2 months. From what I can tell, your businesses are similar, which makes me confident this is worth your time. This is just a formula at this point. Start with the formula if you're not, if you wouldn't consider yourself a very good copywriter, and then just make small little minor adjustments to it every time you split test. You'll get better and better, and eventually you're sort of going to have like a mind for this all of your own. Next is your offer, and that's last but not least. Since you already did all the heavy lifting on day 13, all you have to do is just adapt all of the offers that we previously written to the context that you write over here. Right? Just make sure you're not repeating the same words at the beginning and ends of the sentences. Make sure that it's like logical in light of the social proof. Then all you need to do is, once you're done, sign off with a brief casual signature, and then you're good to go. In terms of the offer, like in terms of the asks that I usually make, I'll usually just say, is this worth a chat? Would this be worth a chat? Could we, talk for 15 minutes about this if you're into this? The point that I'm making is I always like to ask the person, like, hey, is this worth your time? And I find that that borders the line between like, hey, this is me being respectful because I don't really know you, and I just want to make sure this is worth your time before we proceed. It's either a hell yes or a hell no. The subject lines are another very common question. My subject lines are usually just like first name question or just like first name. Sometimes I just send that with a question mark. My prevailing principle here is just do whatever it takes to get them to open the email, even if it's hacky, even if you're applying something different. These growth hacks, they work really well. And email is just a game, just like a video game. There are just some very quick and easy hacks that make it work really well. Okay, in terms of follow-ups for your first few sequences, don't go crazy with follow-ups. I recommend that you stick to 3 emails total. So that's your first primary email with your offer and with all your information, the personalization, and then 2 casual short form emails afterwards that seem as if they're written by a real person. Here are some examples. I'll let you read them, but basically we just have like the first follow-up. The second follow-up is just really short, and it's basically like, hey man, do you want to do this or not? If not, just tell me to screw off. So whichever way you do it, just make sure that however you follow up, it seems like you wrote it yourself, ideally like on your phone, like you were just waiting at the stop, or maybe ideally you're waiting to get into your Mercedes-Benz when you saw their phone number come up and you're like, I had to text you, something of that nature. This will increase the likelihood of response because people are just going to be like, oh, this is a real guy, not a robot. And people like being treated by real people, at least for now. The schedule, I do Monday to Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. ET. I think I just wrote 7 a.m. to 7 a.m., so I'll fix that in post. But yeah, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. ET. I'm in T, which is why I'm selling to ET, and it's why my schedule is in ET. If you're in PT, maybe do that PT. Now, once you're all done that, add them to your cold email platform. All you do is you copy and paste. Make sure to strip any HTML, check formatting, do whatever other platform-specific things you have to do in order to make them look good before moving on. In my case, like this is an example of an email that I had been sending for quite a while. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. It has all the pieces basically. Sorry, it doesn't have all the pieces. There we go. I think this is pre-personalization. So I just went through one of my old campaigns. I copied and pasted this one. And this was me selling lead generation services, specifically like my system that generates leads for people using some type of like automated drag and drop lead approach. So yeah, you can see I have all the pieces here of the personalization. I have the why, who the hell am I? Why does this matter? I basically just have the exact same templated copy and paste message here with the offer right down here. And then I have the, could I show you over a 20-minute call this week? This is worth your time. Copy and paste that if you want to. If not, I think you guys probably get the drill by this point. But what I would do next is I would open up a Google Doc and then I would just write 6. So, this might be, I don't know, niche A times offer A or something along those lines. And then what you do is you just duplicate this 6 times. Make this number 6, make this number 5, make this number 4, make this number 3, make this number 2, and then you're off to the races. Add the specific offers that you've already created, basically right down here. Change the rest of the copy, make them sufficiently different. And because you're going to be testing all of these, obviously you want to gain as much information as humanly possible, right? So because you want to gain as much information as humanly possible, make sure that everyone is pretty different from the other one. Don't make them all the same is what I'm saying, because there's no reason for them to be the same. You want them as different from each other as humanly possible to see which direction you should be going in generally. And then and only when you know what you should be doing generally, that's when you can start honing in on specific changes, minor wording changes, minor changes in how you represent yourself, that sort of thing. So yeah, this is for day 16. So I'm just going to write cold email, day 16, cold email copy, and then voila. Basically, you just do that on your end. This should take you between 30 to 60 minutes if you just sit down, put your head down and focus on it. And then once you have that, it's just going to make the rest of what we're about to do with cold email a lot easier. Best luck.